All right, good afternoon, everybody. Once again, this is Dave Nadler. I've got a team of meteorologists here from National Weather Service, Peachtree City, Atlanta, and we have a special weather briefing talking about this next system coming in. It could be fairly impactful for a good chunk of the area. Go ahead. This is being recorded, so I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. We'll be able to share that with y'all following the live briefing here. So let's go ahead and get started. Just looking at the main highlights. We've got, 1 second, whoop, sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. I had to play the presentation here. Okay, so you should be able to see the slide that says main highlights. We've been talking about this for a couple days now, but very powerful storm system coming out of the southern plains is going to be impacting all of our area basically later on tonight through tomorrow afternoon. We've been talking about this, but a multi-hazard weather threat event with potential for severe weather for a portion of our area, heavy rainfall and flooding for a pretty widespread area across north and central Georgia, and then even the non-thunderstorm winds picking up later today into tonight away from any shower and thunderstorm activity could become an issue as well. I did want to mention, not focused on this, but later in the week toward Friday, there's another system that could be impacting our area as well. Just kind of keep that in mind as we head through the week, and hopefully we can get through tomorrow's event without too many crazy things happening, but there's a lot coming together. Okay, so next slide, we have kind of a radar depiction simulation of what's coming together later tonight. So it starts off at about 3-4 in the morning, and then we do have some rain increasing across the area through this, like later this evening into the overnight hours. Don't expect the evening overnight rain to be severe or high impact stuff, but as we head toward daybreak and through the morning tomorrow, that's when the heavier rain, and you can start to see the main line approaching from the west out of Alabama with the darker reds and oranges. That's the the main push with this system, where the heaviest rainfall, the strongest winds, and even the severe potential along and out ahead of that main line is expected to occur. So we'll get into this here in just a minute, but the primary concerns, again, especially with the main line as it moves across the area, is the heavy rainfall in a fairly short period of time, less than 2 or 3 hours. We could see 1 to 2 inches of rain pretty quickly. That could certainly affect creeks and streams, localized flash flooding. In addition to the heavy rain, the severe wind potential, greater than 60 miles per hour, could be there. Again, this is outside of storms. We could see strong winds, but definitely with the heavier rain and the storm threat with this main line pushing through, the potential for severe winds is going to increase quite a bit. And the tornado threat exists as well, especially across our southern counties of central Georgia. We'll talk about that here in just a second. So we put together a timing of sort of the worst impacts, again, out ahead of and with that main line of showers, heavier showers and storms moving through. This is where we expect for west central and like north central Georgia between about 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. late tonight into the early morning hours, and then progressing sort of east with time during the day tomorrow. And most of the real active weather should be exiting our forecast area by between 2 and 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So for later in the day into the evening hours tomorrow, that there's some good sign there that at least much of the severe threat, the heavy rain threat, the winds may still be up a little bit, but not as strong as they would be with the actual line itself after mid-afternoon tomorrow. So that's the latest of what we're expecting with the worst of the potential impacts with this system moving across our area late tonight and through mid-afternoon tomorrow. The latest, I'm sure many of you have seen this, SPC kind of updated their day 2 outlook for much of the area, especially our southern and eastern counties, into an enhanced risk. This is a level 3 of 5, primarily focused on the damaging wind potential. But again, in that enhanced risk is where we potentially could see the greater tornado risk as well. As you head north and west, the risk gets a little bit less, but again, even outside of a marginal risk where that level 1 of 2, there could be some very strong winds in association with that main band, that heavier rain band moving through very late tonight and through the early to mid-morning hours tomorrow, especially across parts of west central Georgia, including Metro Atlanta, as we head through the early to mid-morning hours tomorrow. So if you're right on the line of the marginal to slight risk, don't think that there can't be anything that might happen with this system. Severe risk might be lower or more isolated, but the stronger winds with the heavier rain showers and the flood potential is still going to be up, especially as you head up across the higher elevations of North Georgia. So taking SPC's outlook, we wanted to address where the greatest risk for damaging winds is going to occur, and this kind of goes along with that enhanced risk across our southern and eastern areas. So anywhere from south of Columbus, Macon, up toward Warrenton, this is where we expect the greatest risk for damaging winds with the heavier showers and the storms to occur. Tornado risk also, as I mentioned earlier, exists within this higher risk area. I'll show that here in just a second. This is the tornado risk. Again, I would say from LaGrange toward Eatonton and then on up into the east central portions of our forecast area, there is some risk for a tornado. There is limited. The good news is that there's the limited instability. That warm, moist air is going to have a hard time getting all the way up into our area, but there is just enough, and there's so much wind energy with this system that we don't need a whole lot of instability or deeper moisture with these types of events to kind of parallel with the wind energy to get tornadoes. We're not expecting any strong tornadoes with this, but if you're farther south, especially from Stewart County towards Americus, Cordele, Abbeville, and then all the way to Dublin and Swainsboro, as we get through the day tomorrow or through the morning into the early afternoon hours, that's where the concern for maybe a more organized tornado could exist, in addition to the damaging wind threat. So those of you down in that area, just keep monitoring that. Obviously, we'll be talking to you out ahead of this as we see things evolve through the morning hours tomorrow. But this is kind of the latest risk for tornadoes across the area. Now, switching gears a little bit, talking about the rainfall, this is going to be the heavier rain flood threat is going to be more of a widespread issue across our forecast area. The image that you're seeing on the left is the excessive rainfall outlook. This will probably change a little bit as we head into tomorrow. This is sort of the day 2 outlook, but the day 1 is showing that yellow area, and then the moderate risk area in the higher elevations of northeast Georgia and the South Carolina. And North Carolina is where we are expecting the greatest risk for any sort of flash flooding and or river flooding. And you can see the storm totals, pretty good stripe along the I-85 corridor of 2 to 4 plus inches, basically from tonight through the day tomorrow, with isolated higher amounts in the higher elevations. I'll talk about that here in just a second. That's pretty good rainfall, and a lot of this rain could occur in a 3 to 6 hour window, which could certainly exacerbate the flash flood threat, in addition to the creeks and smaller streams responding to this kind of rainfall in a short period of time as well. So with that, right now, this is the latest flood watch that we have out in effect, for our area, for mainly the higher elevations of north, central, and northeast Georgia, coming down into parts of Forsyth, Hall County, Banks County. But we are looking at potentially expanding this flood watch, farther south and west. That would include Atlanta metro areas, basically late tonight and through the day tomorrow. So when we send out our afternoon package here in the next hour or two, more than likely this flood watch is going to be expanded a little bit farther south and west with time. This is the kind of looking at the river and stream forecast points there from the Southeast River Forecast Center. We're looking at a few rivers and streams potentially getting into a minor flood situation sometime, tomorrow, even tomorrow night into Wednesday, after the heavier rain has sort of exited the area. So the response is really dependent on the size of the rivers and all the tributaries that sort of flow into the larger rivers. But anywhere, if you're from the Chattahoochee, the Oconee, the Mulgee rivers, there are definitely some points that will at least see action to minor flood potentially as we head through tonight, through the day tomorrow, and even into tomorrow night and into Wednesday. So those of you that live in near these rivers and streams, be on the lookout for the potential flood warnings as we go through the day tomorrow. And this is not counting flash flood warnings. This is just looking at river and stream flooding, the potential as we head through the day tomorrow and into tomorrow night. Okay, the last thing we want to focus on is the non-convective, non-thunderstorm winds that are going to be associated with this powerful system. We have a wind advisory in effect for the entire area, basically through tonight into tomorrow. We have a high wind warning for our higher elevations of north central and northeast Georgia, basically beginning later this afternoon and through the night into tomorrow as well. The graphic on the right is where we are basically our forecast for maximum wind gust during the time frame heading into tonight and tomorrow. Again, this is not really capturing the storm threat, more the non-thunderstorm wind gradient that's associated with this system as it moves across the area later tonight into tomorrow. So much of the area, 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts expected off and on. The higher wind gusts to the south and east across our southern and eastern counties, and in the higher elevations of North Georgia where we could get gusts over 40 to 50 miles per hour at times. We have a couple of graphics kind of showing you this potential max wind gusts where winds could be 40 to 50 plus miles per hour, especially we get up over 2,000 feet. The confidence is definitely there that we could see 50 plus mile per hour winds at times as we head through the night tonight and into the day tomorrow. So folks living, across the higher elevations of north central and northeast Georgia need to be prepared for that. Severe threat might be low, but the high wind potential outside of, especially with any of these showers that we get, could really pull down some of these winds aloft. And that's why we have the high wind warning out in effect for these areas. Further south, across parts of central Georgia, again, outside of any storms, the gradient wind is really going to pick up, and we can see 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. But the showers could really enhance this as we move through the morning hours tomorrow into the afternoon. So be prepared, even if the storm threat doesn't materialize, that these winds could really come together, 40 plus mile per hour wind gust at times across a good portion of the area south and east of I-85 as we head through the day tomorrow. So these winds could definitely bring down some trees, cause some power outages. Want to be prepared for that as we head through the day tomorrow. Okay, so just sort of wrapping things up, once again, our timing of where we expect the worst of all these ingredients sort of coming together, the heavy rain, the strong winds, the severe potential for parts of central Georgia. Wanted to show this graphic once again. Again, with the heavy rain potential, we could see 1 to 2 inches of rain in a very short period of time, maybe even isolated amounts up to 3 inches in less than 3 hours. That can certainly elevate the flash flood potential across a good portion of the area. The severe threat is confined mainly to parts of areas south of I-20 and east of I-85, where the stronger to more severe storms could come together through the morning hours and into the afternoon hours with that main line. Again, that's the wind threat and the tornado threat. And then again, the non-convective, non-thunderstorm wind threat is going to be across the entire area, basically, as we head through the night tonight and into the day tomorrow. So that sort of summarizes what we're looking at this point. Again, a very powerful system expected to move across the area later tonight into tomorrow, multi-hazard event. And then we'll have to watch. I don't have a whole lot on the event for the end of the week, but just something to kind of keep on your radar. We're not scheduling another special webinar at this point, but we'll certainly keep everybody up to date via email, via Slack, through NWS chat, and then if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to us through those methods. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.